The galaxy forgot them. Earth remembered, and humanity answered from the sky. Part 1. The old alien sat in the darkness of the underground shelter and told stories to the children. His name was Torenzi, and he was 112 years old. He remembered things that younger Verithan did not. He remembered the sky before it turned gray. He remembered when their cities stood tall above the ground instead of hiding beneath it. Long ago, Torenzi said, we sent messages to the stars. We asked for help. And somewhere out there, someone heard us. A young child looked up at him. Did anyone come? Torenzi was quiet for a moment. Not yet, he said. But they will. I believe they will. The children did not believe him. No one did any more. 300 years had passed since the great disaster. The sun had burned their world with terrible fire. Cities fell. Billions died. The Verthans sent distress signals to every corner of the galaxy. They begged for evacuation. They pleaded for medicine and food and shelter. No one came. The Galactic Concord, the great alliance of alien species, marked their planet as non-viable. They erased the Verthan from active star charts. They moved on to other matters. 12,000 Varthans survived in dome cities on their dying world. The galaxy forgot them, but Earth remembered. 312 light years away, on a blue planet called Earth, a young woman named Lisa Tran sat in a small office filled with old computer equipment. She was a communications officer and a language expert. Her job was to catalog ancient transmissions that Earth had received before humanity learned to travel between stars. Most of the transmissions were useless, static, fragments, broken signals from dead civilizations. Lisa had spent 2 years sorting through them. It was boring work, but she was good at it. Then she found the signal. It was old. Very old. The computer said it had been repeating for 300 years without stop. Lisa cleaned up the audio and ran it through translation software. The words appeared on her screen. We are dying. We are dying. Does anyone remember us? We are dying. Does anyone remember us? Lisa sat very still. She checked the signal origin. A planet called Vareth 7 in a sector the Galactic Concord had marked as hazardous. She searched for more information and found something that made her heart beat faster. The Verthan had made contact with Earth once, long ago. Before humans had faster-than-light travel. Before humans joined the galactic community. The Varthan had shared agricultural knowledge with Earth. During a terrible famine in 2089, millions of humans survived because of their help. And now they were dying. And no one was helping them. Lisa picked up her communication device and called her captain. Commander. Daniel Cooper was 43 years old. He had brown hair turning gray at the edges and eyes that had seen too much loss. 10 years ago, his younger brother had died on Mars during a colony disaster. Rescue ships were delayed because of paperwork. By the time they arrived, it was too late. Daniel never forgot that. He never forgave it either. When Lisa showed him the signal and the historical records, Daniel read everything twice. He sat in silence for a long time. Then he looked at Lisa. They saved millions of our people, he said. And we forgot about them. The Galactic Concord says the region is hazardous, Lisa said. They advised against any rescue mission. What do you say? Lisa did not hesitate. I say we are them. Daniel nodded. He made calls to Earth Command. He argued with officials. He showed them the records. He reminded them of the debt humanity owed. Some people said it was too dangerous. Some people said it was a waste of resources. Some people said the Varthan were probably all dead by now. Daniel did not give up. 2 weeks later, the mission was approved. The ship Horizon's Edge would travel to Vareth 7. Its crew would assess the situation and provide whatever help they could. Daniel assembled his team. Dr. Kevin Marsh was the science officer, a brilliant man who asked hard questions and demanded proof for everything. Sergeant Amy Reyes was the security chief, a former rescue specialist who had lost her entire squad in an accident on Europa. She volunteered for this mission without being asked. Chris Holloway was the ship medic, young and eager and full of hope. And Lisa Tran, who had found the signal in the first place, the night before they launched. Daniel stood alone on the observation deck and looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, 12,000 people were waiting. They had been waiting for 300 years. They had sent their signal into the void, hoping someone would hear. Someone had heard. The Horizon's Edge launched at dawn. It was not a warship. It was an exploration vessel built for discovery and science. But it was human-made, and that meant something. Humans came from Earth, a world that tried to kill them every day. Their ships were built to survive. The journey took 3 weeks. They passed through Concorde space without incident. Then they entered the Dead Corridor, the region the Concorde had quarantined after the Varthan disaster. Warning beacons told them to turn back. They did not turn back. On the bridge, Lisa monitored the communications already. She had been listening to the old signal the entire journey. She knew every word by heart. Then something changed. "Commander," Lisa said, her voice tight. "The signal. It is different." Daniel walked to her station. "Different how?" Lisa played the new transmission. The voice was weak and broken, but the words were clear. "We see you. We see your ship. Is this real? After all this time, is this real?" Daniel leaned forward. On the main screen, a damaged planet appeared. Gray clouds covered most of the surface. But in one small region, faint lights glowed beneath the haze. Someone was still alive. Daniel picked up the communicator. His hands did not shake. His voice did not waver. "This is Commander Daniel Cooper of the Earth vessel Horizon's Edge. We received your signal. We are here to help. We are here because Earth remembers." The bridge was silent. Everyone waited. Then the response came, broken by static but full of something that sounded like tears. "You came. After 300 years, you came." Daniel looked at his crew. Lisa was crying. Kevin was staring at the screen with his mouth open. Amy stood straight and tall, her jaw tight. "Yes," Daniel said into the communicator. "We came, and we are not leaving until you are safe." The ship moved toward the dying planet. Behind them, the galaxy continued to spin, uncaring and cold. But humanity had answered. That was enough to begin. The galaxy forgot them. Earth remembered, and humanity answered from the sky part 2. The Horizon's Edge moved through the Dead Corridor like a small fish swimming through dark water. Warning beacons flashed red on every side. Automated voices told them to turn back. They ignored all of it. Kevin stood at his science station, running scans on everything around them. The Galactic Concorde said this region was filled with deadly radiation. The official reports claimed that any ship entering would be destroyed within hours. Kevin checked his readings 3 times. Then he turned to Daniel. "Commander, the radiation levels are high, but not deadly. At least not for humans." Daniel frowned. "What do you mean?" "Human bodies can handle this level of radiation for weeks without serious harm. Most other species in the Concorde cannot. Their biology is more sensitive." Kevin paused. The Concorde did not lie exactly. This region is dangerous for them. But for us, it is just uncomfortable. Amy crossed her arms. "So they abandoned the Varthan because it was inconvenient to save them?" "It appears that way," Kevin said quietly. The bridge fell silent. Lisa turned back to her station and began searching through old Concorde records. She worked for hours, pulling data from every relay station they passed. What she found made her sick. "Commander," Lisa said, "I found something." She put the records on the main screen. The crew gathered around and read together. The documents showed the truth. 300 years ago, the Varethan had begged for evacuation. 7 different Concord species had promised to send ships. None of them came. Resources were redirected to more important projects. The Varethan system was marked as a loss and removed from priority lists. There was more. The Varethan's last ambassador, a diplomat named Soren Ka, had traveled to the Concord capital to plead for his people. He waited for months to get an audience with the High Council. They refused to see him. He died on his journey home. His ship was found drifting in empty space decades later, his body still in the pilot's seat, his hands still reaching for the controls. Amy's voice was hard when she spoke. They let him die waiting. They let all of them die waiting, Lisa said. Daniel stood very still. He thought about his brother, trapped on Mars while rescue ships filled out paperwork. He thought about the officials who had said the delay was unfortunate but unavoidable. He thought about how easy it was for people to let others die when those others were far away and easy to forget. "Not this time," Daniel said. "Not ever again." The ship continued forward. That night, Lisa worked alone in her quarters. She had found more Varethan transmissions in the old data. Not just distress calls. They were cultural records, history files, music, and stories. The Varethan had sent everything they could into space, hoping someone would find it and remember who they were. One file was different from the others. It was addressed specifically to Earth. Lisa opened it and read. "To our friends on the 3rd planet. We know you cannot reach us yet. Your ships are too slow, your technology too young. But we believe in you. We have watched your species grow. We have seen your struggles and your courage. We shared our knowledge with you because we believed you would become something great. If you ever reach the stars, please remember us. We are the Varethan of Vareth 7. We lived. We loved. We hoped. Remember us." Lisa read the message 5 times. Then she began composing a response. "This is Lisa Tran of Earth. We received your message. We remember you. We are coming." She sent it toward the planet, not knowing if anyone would hear. The next morning, an automated Concord patrol vessel appeared on their sensors. It was a small ship, designed for monitoring, not combat. It broadcast a warning. "Attention Earth vessel. You are entering quarantine territory. Turn back immediately. The Galactic Concord accepts no responsibility for vessels that enter this region voluntarily." Daniel looked at the patrol ship on the screen. He picked up the communicator. "Concord vessel, this is Commander Daniel Cooper. We are on a humanitarian mission to Vareth 7. We will not turn back." The response came quickly. "Your entry into this region has been logged. The Concord advises against this action. Proceed at your own risk." Then the patrol ship turned and flew away. It did not try to stop them. It did not offer to help. It simply logged their presence and left. Kevin shook his head. They do not even care enough to argue. They stopped caring 300 years ago, Lisa said. The ship pushed forward through the dead corridor. The radiation grew stronger, but the human crew barely noticed. Their bodies were built for a harsh world. Earth had hurricanes and earthquakes and diseases. Earth had predators and poisons and 1,000 ways to die. Humans evolved to survive all of it. A little radiation was nothing. On the 3rd day, they reached the edge of the Varethan system. The main star was unstable, flickering with solar storms. The outer planets were burned husks. But the 4th planet, Vareth 7, still held life. Lisa's console lit up with incoming signals. Dozens of them. Hundreds. The Varethan had seen their approach and were reaching out with every communication device they had. "Earthship, is this real? Are you truly from the 3rd planet? We thought we were forgotten. Please be real. Daniel addressed the crew. All stations, prepare for planetary approach. We are going to tell these people that they are not forgotten. We are going to tell them that help has arrived. He turned to Lisa. Open a channel to all frequencies. Lisa nodded and pressed the controls. Channel open, Commander. Daniel took a breath and spoke clearly. People of Era 7, this is the Earth vessel Horizon's Edge. 300 years ago, you helped our people survive. You asked nothing in return. Today, we return that kindness. We are here to help you. We are here to remember you. You are not alone anymore. The response came from 1,000 voices at once, crying and laughing and praying. The sound filled the bridge. Lisa wiped her eyes. Kevin stared at his screens without seeing them. Amy stood at attention, her face wet with tears she did not bother to hide. The Horizon's Edge entered orbit around the dying world. Below them, 12,000 survivors looked up at the sky for the first time in 3 centuries. Hope had arrived, and it wore a human face. The galaxy forgot them. Earth remembered, and humanity answered from the sky. Part 3. The shuttle dropped through gray clouds toward the surface of Vara 7. Inside, Daniel checked his equipment one more time. Amy sat across from him, her weapons secured but ready. Kevin studied atmospheric readings on his tablet. Chris packed medical supplies into a bag. Atmosphere is thin but breathable for humans, Kevin reported. Temperature's cold. Radiation levels are manageable. We can survive outside for several hours without protection. What about the Varathin? Daniel asked. Their bodies are adapted to these conditions. They have survived here for 300 years. But their domes are failing. Power systems are old. Water recyclers are breaking down. Kevin paused. They have maybe 2 years before everything collapses. The shuttle broke through the clouds. Below them lay a wasteland. Gray dust covered everything. Ruined buildings stood like broken teeth against the horizon. Rivers had dried into empty channels. Forests had become fields of dead wood. But in one valley, lights glowed through the haze. Dome cities clustered together like eggs in a nest. 12,000 survivors lived in those domes. They had held on for 3 centuries. The shuttle landed outside the largest dome. The entry hatch opened, and Daniel stepped onto alien soil for the first time. A delegation waited for them. The Varathin were tall and thin, with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. They wore simple robes and carried no weapons. Their leader stepped forward. She was old, her skin wrinkled, and her movements slow, but her eyes were sharp. I am Naratel, she said. Her voice was soft but clear. I am the elder counselor of the surviving Varathin. I speak for my people. Daniel bowed his head slightly. I am Commander Daniel Cooper of Earth. We came because your ancestors helped ours long ago. We owe you a debt. Naratel studied him for a long moment. When we sent those transmissions, we did not expect to be repaid. We helped your people because it was right, not because we wanted something in return. That is exactly why we came, Daniel said. Because it was right. Naratel's eyes filled with tears. She blinked them away and gestured toward the dome entrance. Please, come inside. Let us talk. The dome city was beautiful and sad at the same time. The Varathin had built gardens and fountains and open spaces filled with art. But the gardens were dying. The fountains had stopped flowing. The art was faded and cracked. We do our best to maintain what we have, Naratel explained as they walked. But we lack resources. Our technology is old. Our knowledge is incomplete. Many skills were lost when the older generations died. Kevin examined the dome structure. This engineering is impressive. Your ancestors built well. They built for forever, Naratel said. But forever is a long time when no one comes to help. They reached a central chamber where hundreds of Earthen had gathered. They stared at the humans with wonder and fear and hope. Children hid behind their parents, peeking out with curious eyes. Daniel addressed the crowd. "We are here to help. Our ship carries supplies, medicine, and equipment. We have engineers who can repair your systems. We have doctors who can treat your sick. We will not leave until you are safe." The Varathan murmured among themselves. Some wept, some laughed. Some fell to their knees and thanked gods that Daniel had never heard of. An old Varathan pushed through the crowd. He was ancient, even older than Naratel. His steps were slow and his hands trembled, but his face was bright with joy. "I am Tornze," he said. "I am 112 years old. I was a child when we sent the last transmission. I have waited my entire life for this moment." He reached out and touched Daniel's hand. His fingers were cold and thin, but his grip was strong. "I told the children stories," Torrance continued. "I told them that someone would come. They did not believe me. No one believed me." He smiled through his tears. "I believed. I never stopped believing." Daniel held the old alien's hand gently. "You were right to believe." Lisa stepped forward. She had learned the Varathan language from the old transmissions. She spoke to Torrance in his own words. "Your ancestors sent a message to Earth long ago. They said they believed in us. They said we would become something great. We received that message. We never forgot." Torrance listened with his eyes closed. When Lisa finished, he opened them again. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you for remembering." The crew spent the rest of the day assessing the situation. Kevin examined the dome generators and water recyclers. Chris set up a medical station and began treating the sick. Amy surveyed the perimeter and noted the lack of defenses. "Counselor," Amy said to Naratel, "have you had any trouble with outsiders? Raiders or pirates?" Naratel's expression darkened. "Yes, scavengers come every year or two. They take what they want and kill anyone who resists. The last raid was 6 months ago. They took food and medicine. They killed 30 of our people." Amy's jaw tightened. "Do you know who they are?" "They call themselves the Free Fleet. Their leader is a Kethrani warlord named Vaxtor. He has raided us for decades. We cannot stop him. We have no weapons, no ships, no way to fight back." Amy looked at Daniel. "Commander, we need to prepare for the possibility of another raid." Daniel nodded. "Agreed. Start training volunteers. Teach them basic defense. We will not let these scavengers hurt anyone else." That night, Daniel stood outside the dome and looked up at the gray sky. Somewhere up there, the horizon's edge orbited silently. Somewhere beyond that, the Galactic Concorde continued its business without a thought for the people below. Lisa joined him. "What are you thinking about?" "I am thinking about how easy it is to forget people," Daniel said. "I am thinking about how hard it is to remember." Lisa nodded. "The Varathan remembered us when we were nothing. They helped us when they had nothing to gain. The Concorde should have done the same for them." "The Concorde thinks in terms of resources and efficiency," Daniel said. "We think in terms of right and wrong. That is the difference." A light flickered on the horizon. Then another. Then a dozen more. Amy's voice came over the radio. "Commander, we have incoming contacts. Multiple ships entering the system." Daniel's blood went cold. "How many?" 12 vessels. Configuration matches the Free Fleet. It is the scavengers, sir. They are coming back." Daniel looked at the lights in the sky. The raiders had returned, and humanity was the only thing standing between them and 12,000 innocent lives. "All hands," Daniel said into his radio. "Battle stations." The galaxy forgot them. Earth remembered, and humanity answered from the sky. Part 4. the scavenger fleet spread across the sky like hungry birds. 12 ships, armed and dangerous. Their leader, Vaxtor, had raided Forgotten Worlds for 30 years. He had never lost a fight. He did not expect to lose this one. On the horizon's edge, Daniel studied the enemy formation. The scavenger ships were old but well-maintained. They carried weapons designed for hitting soft targets, not warships. Vaxtor was a bully, not a soldier. "Commander," Kevin said from his station. "They are hailing us. Put it through." A face appeared on the screen. Vaxtor was Kathrani, a reptilian species with scaled skin and yellow eyes. He smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Human vessel," Vaxtor said. "This is unexpected. You are far from home." "This planet is under Earth's protection," Daniel replied. "Leave now, and there will be no conflict." Vaxtor laughed. "Protection? One exploration ship against 12 armed vessels? You are either brave or stupid. Perhaps both." He leaned forward. "I will give you one chance. Fly away, and I will let you live. Stay, and I will take your ship along with everything else." Daniel did not blink. The Varthan asked for help. "We answered, 'We will not abandon them. Then you will die with them.'" The screen went dark. Daniel turned to his crew. "Battle stations. All hands prepare for combat." The Horizon's Edge was not built for war. It was an exploration vessel, designed for science and discovery. But it was human-made, and humans built things to last. The hull was reinforced against asteroid impacts. The engines were powerful enough to escape gravity wells. The weapons were minimal but effective. Most importantly, the crew was human. And humans did not surrender easily. Vaxtor made the first move. 3 of his ships broke formation and charged toward the Horizon's Edge. They fired missiles and energy weapons. The space around the human vessel lit up with explosions. "Evasive maneuvers," Daniel ordered. The ship twisted and rolled. Missiles screamed past. Energy beams struck the hull but failed to penetrate. The human engineers had built their ship for a dangerous universe. "Return fire," Daniel said. The Horizon's Edge unleashed its weapons. 2 missiles streaked toward the lead scavenger ship. The enemy pilot tried to dodge, but human targeting systems were faster. Both missiles struck. The scavenger ship exploded in a ball of fire. The remaining 2 ships pulled back in surprise. They had not expected the human vessel to fight so hard. "Commander," Amy said over the radio. She was on the surface with Chris and a team of Varathan volunteers. "Scavenger landing craft are approaching the domes. They are trying to hit the colony while you fight in orbit." "Stop them," Daniel ordered. "Yes, sir." On the surface, Amy organized the defense. She had spent 2 days training Varathan volunteers in basic combat. They were not soldiers, but they were determined. They had watched their people die in raids for generations. Today they would fight back. The scavenger landing craft touched down outside the main dome. 40 raiders emerged, armed with rifles and blades. They expected easy targets. They found something else. Amy and her team waited behind cover. When the raiders moved into range, she gave the signal. The Varathan opened fire. Their aim was not perfect, but there were many of them. Raiders fell. The rest dove for cover, shocked by the resistance. "Push forward," Amy commanded. "Do not let them regroup." Torin Esse stood beside her. The old alien held a weapon for the first time in his life. His hand shook, but his eyes were steady. "You came for us," he said. "We will not hide while you fight for us." In orbit, the battle continued. Vaxtor sent ship after ship against the Horizon's Edge. Daniel used every trick he knew. He hid in the debris field around the planet, using wrecked satellites and old stations as cover. He made the scavengers come to him, then struck them when they were vulnerable. 4 scavenger ships were destroyed. 3 more were damaged and retreating. But the Horizon's Edge was hurting too. Hull breaches on multiple decks. Engine power down to 60%. Weapons overheating. "Commander," Lisa shouted. "I found something in the old archives. The Varthin had a planetary defense system. It has been offline for 300 years, but I think I can reactivate it." "Do it," Daniel said. Lisa worked frantically at her console. She dug through ancient files and forgotten codes. The defense system was old, but Varthin engineering was solid. If she could find the right activation sequence, it might still work. In space, Vaxtor's flagship moved into position. It was the largest ship in his fleet, armed with weapons that could crack the Horizon's Edge open like an egg. "Human," Vaxtor's voice crackled over the radio. "You have fought well. Better than I expected. But this ends now." The flagship charged its main weapon. Energy gathered at its bow, glowing bright. "Lisa," Daniel said urgently. "Now would be a good time." "I have it," Lisa said. Activating planetary defense system. On the surface of Vareth 7, buried beneath 300 years of dust, ancient machines came to life. Defense satellites that had floated dead in orbit began to power up. Weapon platforms that had not fired since the Great Disaster targeted the enemy ships. The planetary defense system was weak. Most of its power cells were drained. Many of its weapons were broken. But it was enough. Energy beams lanced out from the planet's surface. They struck Vaxtor's flagship just as it prepared to fire. The shields overloaded. The hull cracked. Secondary explosions tore through the ship. Vaxtor screamed in rage as his vessel broke apart around him. The remaining scavenger ships fled. They had come expecting an easy victory. They found humanity instead. On the surface, the last raiders surrendered. Amy accepted their weapons and placed them under guard. The Varthin stood in shock, staring at the sky where enemy ships burned and fell. Daniel slumped in his command chair. Blood ran from a cut on his forehead. His arm was broken, injured when a console exploded beside him. But he was alive. His crew was alive. The Varthin were safe. "Commander," Kevin said quietly, "it is over. We won." Daniel nodded slowly. He looked at the planet below, at the dome cities that still glowed with light. "Contact the surface," he said. "Tell them they are safe. Tell them the scavengers will not hurt them again." Lisa sent the message. Moments later, cheering erupted from the planet below. 12,000 voices raised in joy and relief and gratitude. The sky burned with the wreckage of the enemy fleet. But beneath that burning sky, hope survived. Humanity had answered. And humanity had won. The galaxy forgot them. Earth remembered, and humanity answered from the sky. Part 5. The Concorde ship arrived 3 days after the battle. It was massive, 10 times the size of the Horizon's Edge. Its hull gleamed silver and blue. Its weapons bristled along every surface. It was a ship designed to intimidate. Daniel stood on his damaged bridge and watched it approach. His arm was in a sling. His face was bruised. His ship was held together with emergency repairs and determination. But he did not feel afraid. "They are hailing us," Lisa said. "Put it through." The face on the screen belonged to an alien called Zelethmore. He was a high arbiter of the Galactic Concorde, a bureaucrat with centuries of experience. His expression was cold and precise. "Commander Cooper," Zelethmore said, "your actions have created a significant diplomatic incident. This system is under Concorde jurisdiction. Your unauthorized military engagement violates 12 separate treaties." "We defended innocent people from raiders," Daniel replied. "There was nothing unauthorized about it. The Varthin system was quarantined 300 years ago. Any species that enters does so at their own risk. The Concorde accepts no responsibility for what happens here. Zelithmore's eyes narrowed. You should have let nature take its course. Nature did not abandon the Varthan. The Concord did. Zelithmore's expression did not change. The Concord makes difficult decisions for the good of all species. Resources are limited. Not everyone can be saved. Daniel stepped closer to the screen. They sent distress signals for decades. They begged for evacuation. Your people promised help that never came. An ambassador died waiting for an audience that was never granted. Those are not difficult decisions. Those are choices to let people die. The past cannot be changed. No, but the future can. Zelithmore smiled thinly. The future is exactly why I am here. The Concord is prepared to offer the surviving Varthan resettlement. They will be moved to a Concord processing facility where they can be properly cared for. Daniel knew what that meant. Processing facilities were not homes. They were holding areas where inconvenient populations were stored and forgotten. The Varthan had survived 300 years on their own world. The Concord wanted to erase that and take control. And if they refuse? Daniel asked. This system belongs to the Concord. They do not have the right to refuse. A new voice spoke. Naratel appeared on a secondary screen, broadcasting from the planet below. I am Naratel, Elder Counselor of the Varthan. I speak for my people. Her voice was calm but firm. For 300 years, the Concord was silent. We sent messages. We begged for help. We watched our people die while the galaxy looked away. Earth answered. Earth sent ships and soldiers and doctors. Earth fought for us when no one else would. She paused. We choose our friends, High Arbiter. And we do not choose you. Zelithmore's smile faded. You do not have that authority. Then who does? Naratel asked. We survived without you. We will continue without you. The High Arbiter turned back to Daniel. Commander, I advise you to reconsider your position. The Concord can make things very difficult for Earth. Trade sanctions. Diplomatic isolation. Military action if necessary. Daniel did not blink. You abandoned 12,000 people to die because it was convenient. We came because it was right. If standing up for innocent lives is a crime, then humanity will answer for it. But we will not abandon them. Not now. Not ever. Lisa's hands moved across her console. Commander, I am broadcasting this conversation on all open channels. Every ship in range is receiving it. Every relay station is recording it. Zelithmore's face went pale. What are you doing? I am showing the galaxy what the Concord really is, Lisa said. I am showing them the messages the Varthan sent. I am showing them the promises that were broken. I am showing them what happens when bureaucrats decide who deserves to live and who deserves to die. The broadcast spread like fire through dry grass. Within hours, other worlds began responding. Forgotten colonies, abandoned outposts, populations that had been erased from official records. They shared their own stories. They added their voices to the chorus. The Concord had built its power on order and efficiency. But order crumbles when people see the truth. Zelithmore watched his political future collapse in real time. He had no response. He had no defense. He had only the shame of 300 years of neglect exposed for all to see. This is not over, the High Arbiter said finally. No, Daniel agreed. It is just beginning. The Concord ship turned and flew away. It did not threaten. It did not attack. It simply left, taking its shame with it. On the surface of Vareth 7, the Varthan celebrated. For the first time in 3 centuries, they were not alone. For the first time in 3 centuries, someone had stood beside them. Earth formally extended protection to the Varthan. Ships arrived with supplies and equipment. Engineers began repairing the domes. Scientists started working on atmospheric processors that would make the air breathable again. Torrenzé spoke at a ceremony honoring the human crew. He stood before thousands of his people and addressed them in a voice that trembled with age and emotion. When I was a child, we sent a message to Earth. We told them we believed in them. We said they would become something great. He looked at Daniel, at Lisa, at Amy and Kevin and Chris. We were right. They came when no one else would. They fought when no one else would. They remembered us when the galaxy forgot. He bowed his head. Thank you. Thank you for remembering. 6 months later, Daniel stood on a hill outside the main dome. The atmospheric processors were working. The air was thin but breathable. Varathan children played in the open for the first time in 300 years. Lisa joined him. The ship is ready. We have orders to return to Earth. Daniel nodded. He watched the children running and laughing. He watched Tarnsa teaching them games from before the disaster. He watched life returning to a world that had been given up for dead. Think the galaxy will remember this. Lisa asked. Daniel smiled. The galaxy forgot them. Earth remembered. That is what matters. The horizon's edge lifted off and climbed toward the stars. Below, a Varathan child stopped playing and looked up at the sky. She raised her hand and waved. Daniel waved back. Then the ship jumped to faster than light speed and vanished. Behind it, a world that had abandoned began to heal. A people that had been forgotten began to hope. And somewhere in the cold darkness between stars, humanity continued its journey. Not because it was easy. Not because it was profitable. Not because anyone asked. Because it was right. That was always reason enough.